welcome to the Fire on Earth podcast with your hosts, Jason Mefford and Kathy Gruber. Fire on Earth, giving you the keys to unlock your limitless potential.
Welcome to another episode of the Fire on Earth podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason Mefford.
That's Kathy Gruber.
So we're starting off already.
For some reason,
laughing.
I was expecting you to say I'm Kathy Gruber, and I was going to say I'm Jason Mefford, and I don't know why I would ever think that, but I'll be Kathy today.
Okay, well, one of these times we need to record it that way backwards just to fuck with people. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Well, I do. I don't know if you listen to the episodes after I edit them. Sometimes I do throw in one of our funny intros.
I listened to that one. That was the Indian version, I think.
Yeah. It was very fun. Anyway, hey, so we've got a show to do. We decided to do a couple more of those very short ones where we're just prompted by a question. And the question today was basically, how do you take rejection? Being that I was a theater person and constantly auditioning and constantly hearing no, I learned to take rejection at a pretty early age. No one likes it, but I did learn to take it pretty quick. So, Jason, how do you take rejection? Is that something that you roll with, or does that upset you?
Well, I'm learning to roll with it better, but for me, it was. I had different, points in my life, obviously, where I've been rejected. It still hurts, right? But and I think again, it's maybe I don't have as much experience as some people do, right? I mean, so there's, you take somebody who's a door-to-door salesperson, or does something like that, where theater, you go to 100 auditions and you get a call back on one, right? So you're used to getting told no.
Yeah.
And for those of us, I mean, I was always an overachiever. I was always a good kid. I good student, no disciplinary issues, so I was usually hearing yes all the time. I wasn't hearing no very much in my life. And for the most part, I've gotten pretty much everything I wanted in my life. Right. So when the rejection comes, sometimes it's maybe still a little hard for me to take. But I'm learning how to do it by trying to, again, separate myself and my identity of who Jason is from what other people might say.
Yeah.
Right. So if somebody says no, or if somebody says, well, Jason's kind of weird, well, okay, that's your opinion. Right. And I don't need to, feel rejected.
Right.
You're not rejecting me because
Yes.
you say I'm weird, right? But it's one of those little, it's a little thing, that we have to kind of like click to be able to get through. And it's funny because I think you've got a story to share here about this, but I remember, I think it was a TED Talk that I saw about rejection. And so what the guy said was he would go out and purposely get rejected to learn.
That's what I pulled up.
Is that the one you pulled up?
His name is Jia Jiang, and I saw him speak live. He spent 100 days specifically seeking out people and asking for things that he knew he was going to get a no to. Knock on people's doors. Can I spend a week here? No. And he trained himself, and he learned to love the rejection. And maybe I'm butchering his name. It's Jia, and the last name Jiang. When I wrote TED Talk rejection, that was the first thing that popped up. So yeah, I thought about that. It's great. I got to see him speak at a women's tech conference. It was really good. But the other thing, I'm sorry, go ahead, finish your thought on that.
Well, no, because that's what I was going to bring up was to me, it was amazing to hear that talk and just, again, think about and bring into my awareness that, oh, isn't this something that we can probably train ourselves on just like anything else? Right. Because we get told that no is a bad thing, right? That we don't like to hear no. And yet we hear no all the time in our life. Right.
Yeah.
So what if we retrain ourselves that no actually is a good thing? In fact, one of the tricks that I share with a lot of the executives that I coach is people like to say no, So word your question so it's okay for them to say no. And when they say no, you get what you want.
Mm. Oh, okay. I got to think about that one.
Yeah. So instead of, for example, people going in and asking permission for something.
Yeah.
Hey, can I have $50,000 to do this whatever project? No. Instead, flip it around. There's no problem with me investing the 50,000 over here, is there? No, that'd be fine. Right? Because people want to, our knee-jerk reaction is to want to say no, because to say no to a question makes us feel safe, because it feels like we're not committing to something. If we say yes, right, then we're on the hook for something.
Right.
So that's why there's the classic sales technique where you try to get people to say yes. Your name is Kathy, right? Yes. Kathy, you're here looking for a new car today, right? Yes. Kathy, you're going to buy a new car today, right? Yeah. It's where they try to get you to say yes.
Sneaky.
And so we get conditioned to realize or feel like when we say yes, it's scary, because it means I might walk out with a car I wasn't expecting.
Right.
But when you flip it the other way and let people say no, it's just kind of an interesting thing. So
yeah,
I hadn't thought about that until we brought this up too. Of
the rejection.
There shouldn't be any judgment around the word no. It's just we've been indoctrinated to believe that.
Yeah. Well, and to me, people have said, throughout the years of being an actor, where it's like you do, like you said, hundreds of auditions. And, I remember reading the breakdowns, which is the way they used to do the casting calls, is they'd send out breakdowns every day to agents. The agent would read the breakdown and go, oh, I'll send these 3 people in. You stick it in an envelope. Somebody comes by, takes the envelope. And I remember one of my last things that I submitted for, I worked in my agent's office. It was mid-20s, 5'8", average weight, ex-dancer, psychology student. Why didn't it just say, it should have said send Kathy Gruber.
Yeah,
like, exactly. Send Kathy
right?
Gruber.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get an audition. And that's when I kind of went, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, if I can't even get that audition and it describes me to a T, what the hell am I doing here? So in a way, that was sort of like not global rejection, but it was this thing that sparked in me, maybe I just don't want to do this anymore. But one of the things that with rejection for me is you can't take it personally. They aren't saying no to you. They're saying no to that encyclopedia. They're saying no to you in that role. They're saying no to that date. And I can't remember what I was just reading. I was reading a book and it was talking about rejection and perception. And there was 4 guys at this party and there was this gorgeous woman there. And each one of them said, I want to ask her out. I want to ask her out. I want to ask her out. And they said, well, let's just see who she picks. So the first guy walks over. She says no. He assumes she's a stuck-up bitch. And he's probably just not good enough for her. And who the hell does she think she is? That's how he took the rejection. The second guy walked up and she said no. And he said, oh, well, perhaps she just already has a boyfriend. The third guy went up and she said no. And he goes, oh, well, clearly she's intimidated to me. I'm just too good for her. She can recognize that. So like they all had this different perception of what it was going to be like to be rejected by this woman. And I just found that fascinating. It's true. It's like, what story are you going to tell yourself about why she said no? She's too good for you. You're too good for her. Maybe she just has a boyfriend and she's not into me. Maybe she's gay. Maybe she has a girlfriend. Maybe,
Did the fourth guy get said yes to?
Sure. I don't know. Maybe there's only 3. I don't remember. But it's true. It's like, what story are we telling ourselves about that situation?
Yeah, because it's the story that we tell ourselves that leads to the belief that we create from the stories that we continue to tell ourselves. And as a result of that, it leads into, identity issues, that as we're programming those beliefs over and over and over and over and over again, right? Then we feel like, oh, because I've been rejected by an attractive woman, 3 times, that means every attractive woman is going to reject me, right? Which again is not true, but sometimes we take it that story, right? And I can't remember what the name of the movie was, but it was one with Andy Rourke. And I remember this scene in the movie where he walks up to some woman and pretty much was like, so you want to sleep with me? you know, and it was like, I mean, like direct, right? Not like, you know, and the point of it was, he said, you know, I know it's at least a 50-50 chance. You're going to say yes or you're going to say no. Right. And what's interesting is, you know, again, if we think about it that way, and he didn't have any attachment to the
Right.
outcome. If she says no, he's going to go to somebody else. He knows it's a game of numbers at that point. You know, if you ask 100, I mean, again, if you want to get laid one night and you go to a place where there's a bunch of people hanging out, you ask 100 people, you're probably going to get to sleep with one of them,
Yep.
right? You might have to go through all 100 before you get the yes. But, you know, do you stop after 2 or 3 and think, oh, nobody likes me, I'm never gonna, you know, at that point? And, you know, a lot of times we do end up going down that path quicker instead of stepping back, right?
Mhm.
And having more of that perspective, and what is the story that we're telling ourselves when we feel like we're being rejected, even though we're probably not being rejected. That's just the feeling and the story that we're telling ourselves.
Yep. Yeah, and it's all about the story, right? I mean, Eckhart Tolle, I just listened to some more Eckhart Tolle to try to just keep my life balanced. And you know, it's not our life that we're mad about, it's our life situation that are these stories we're telling ourselves. You know, it's not the situation, it's a story around the situation. It's not the people in front of us that are taking too long at the grocery store. That's just, there's a line at the grocery store. It's this perception, it's these stories of, well, they're making me late and they're backing up on me. You know, I was so pissed at the ants this morning, I'm sure they were there just to annoy me. They came in just to annoy me this morning.
Really? What if they were just hungry and they found the cat?
They did find the cat food, and the cat was very unhappy about it. He was meow meow meow. We're like, what are you? Oh no, yeah. Sometimes things happen, and sometimes, you know, and I have to say, probably all the rejection that I faced as an actor made me so much stronger and more resilient. You know, when after I left my ex-husband and I was dating, it's like I took so many risks with it. To me, it was about bold action. Hey, do you want to go out? No? Okay, cool. I mean, I contacted a guy that I knew 20 years ago and invited him out to catch up. And he said, oh, hey, what's new? I know, you know, that you're married in Santa Barbara. And I said, well, one of those things is true. And he goes, oh my God, are you splitting up? And I said, yeah. And he goes, great. Is this a date? And I said, you know what? If you want it to be a date, it is. If not, it's two old friends getting together. And it ended up being a date. You know, had I not like taken that risk, those bold actions, had I sat at home going, oh, well, I'm divorced now, probably no one's going to want me, and I haven't seen this guy in 20 years, like, why would he want to see me? And I wouldn't have the amazing life I have now. So it's about bold action. And if you're rejected, oh, you know, find a way to get over it, like the guy did that did the TED Talk. Makes you stronger.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I like it.
Well, and I love that line that you said too. It's I think was from what you were hearing from Eckhart. You know, it's the story, not your situation. You know, and again, it's yeah. What's the story that you're telling around whatever the situation happens to be? Because, you know, again, people aren't rejecting you. We're just choosing to feel rejected.
Yeah. And go check out that guy's TED Talk. Again, it's called What I Learned from 100 Days of Rejection. It's fun. It's 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was a great speaker. It was really a privilege to get to hear him. So cool. Well, go out and get rejected today. No. I mean, it might happen anyway, you know. I mean, you send out an email and people don't respond. You send out a LinkedIn thing and people don't connect. I mean, we're dealing with it all the time. It's really just as a matter of how you learn to handle it. So don't take it personally. No, it's not about you personally. It's just about that thing. It isn't the right at the moment. Cool. All right. Well, I'm Kathy Groover. I can be reached at kathygroover.com.
And I'm Jason Mefford. I can be reached at jasonmefford.com. So go out, have a great week. I'll see you on the next episode of the Fire Nerd Podcast. See ya.